Hello and welcome to the Blackout podcast where you get to talk to amazing people that do amazing things. And today I'm happy to have Ashley Palmer.
That is correct.
That is correct. Thanks for going on the podcast today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with, when did you first start drawing anything?
I would say in pre-primary, we had I don't want to say a competition, but essentially we were doing like a recycling day project or something. We had to draw a picture, and then the best picture was input into a coloring book for all of the different schools. They picked one person per school. And anyways, I won that.
Oh, nice.
And then ever since then, I've always done like drawing and creative arty type stuff.
And so you went on ASCAD?
I didn't go to NASCAD. I didn't go to school at all for any sort of like artistic training of any kind.
Oh, what did you study?
I studied special events planning in George Brown in Toronto, and totally unrelated. I had applied to go to NASCAD after I graduated high school. However, my family is not very into the arts, so I decided against it and ended up working for a couple of years before I even went to college in Toronto. And now I'm just kind of getting back into it. It's always been a side project or a hobby or something like that, but it's never been a main focus of mine. I'd like for it to be eventually.
I guess cause I love your Instagram. What's your Instagram handle again?
My name, Ashley Palmer, with 3 R's at the end.
Let's go with, why the 3 R's?
Ashley Palmer was taken. Ashley Palmer with 2 R's was taken. Ashley Palmer with 3. I was able to. It's my social media for everything, so it just kind of syncs up everywheres.
Yeah.
So it's easy.
So exactly. So it's your Instagram. I'm like, it's great. And when did you start making the things on your Instagram, like the?
So yeah,
what illustrations?
Yeah, it's like digital illustrations. I sort of started a new style, I guess you could say, in like October.
So pause.
Yes.
You said new style.
Yeah.
What was the style before the new style?
I was trying to be more realistic in doing like 2D drawings.
Yeah.
And trying to capture realistic elements. However, I'm not that great at it, and it would take me way too long. So like one portrait for someone was taking me 13 hours to do.
Whoa.
And that's so much time that I did not have to put into something like that. So I started doing a new sort of style. I was actually just browsing on Pinterest and saw this design or this drawing, and it's like the silliest little thing to even pick up on, but it was a girl had put a picture on of a drawing where the eye connected to the nose, like the line of the eye was connected to the nose, and like the eyebrow was all connected. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, I liked how that was done, and it was just super quick in passing, but it like stuck with me. And then when I picked up my iPad to draw again, I was just like, I'm going to try doing something like that. So I did it. I posted it on my Instagram page, and a lot of people really liked it. And they're like, this is cool. And I was talking to my friends, and they're like, you should do some sort of like series or something. Just like keep drawing people that are like that. So I started picking people in my real life to try and base the drawings off of. It's very cartoon-esque, but picking them, and then also picking like a quote that kind of, I don't know, would show what the picture is or describe what the picture is. And then just started doing that. And then I made an Instagram story just being like, if I open this up for people, would they want to, have a drawing done? Would you be interested in it? And I had immediately 40 replies within like the first hour, which was like insane. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Then I was working on them like crazy, and then it gets to a point where it almost like burns you out because you're like, whoa, this is so much. And again, these ones are less time consuming. It's only about 3 hours, but it's still 3 hours that I don't necessarily have because I have such a busy day outside of art.
Yeah. What time of the day do you usually work on your paint and your art?
Between the hours of 9 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Wow.
usually, because I have a full day. I wake up every morning at 6. I have to drive my daughter out to daycare, and then I will go to work myself 9 to 5. Sometimes I'll work overtime. A lot of the time I'll work overtime. And then I'll have to go pick her up, and then obviously feed her, play with her, put her to bed, and then once she's asleep, and then I start doing my drawings.
And so you always drew on the iPad, or did you draw like on a computer before the
Yeah,
iPad?
so I started like very early on when I was still in like school and stuff. I would take art classes, and it would all be like in a sketchbook, drawing, painting, that sort of stuff. And I do still like doing that. But then in grade 12, I started dabbling in Adobe Illustrator on the computer. I took a multimedia class and actually got really into Adobe Illustrator there. And my grade 12 teacher, he picked me and another kid to compete in a 2D animation competition for provincials, and we won. And then we were selected to go to nationals, and I didn't go because I felt embarrassed that it was really nerdy. So I was like, I don't want people at my school to know that this is what it was like I don't want to say an under the table sort of competition, but like no one at my school knew I was competing until it was in the newspaper that I won.
But like you want something
I
good.
know, yeah. And then, so I got into like using Adobe Illustrator like really well there. And then I bought it on my own, and I just used my MacBook and started doing it. And that was where I was doing a lot of the, like the actual portraits that I was really trying with effort. And I would do a lot of different kind of like icons and little like doodles and sketches. And I still have like all that stuff saved on some external hard drive somewhere. But yeah, then I switched to my iPad now that I have, and I use the app Procreate with my Apple Pencil. And it's way easier because you can just transport it wherever. For instance, like my daughter Lennan, if she's sleeping in the car, I'll make sure to bring my my iPad with me, and then if she's taking a nap, I'll just sit in the car and draw until she wakes up. So it's like very convenient, way easier to use. It doesn't cost as much because Adobe Illustrator, it's a
It's
monthly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and if I'm not using it all the time, I can't justify having to pay for that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. And like, how does it work exactly? Do you kind of like, because I've never seen someone use it. I only see it when they've finished using it. So it starts like a blank sheet, and then you actually draw, like actually drawing.
Yeah, so the way that it works, because I use the app, Procreate, and essentially you start with a blank canvas. You can choose whatever color background that you want. You can choose the dimensions of the canvas size. I usually just choose like legal paper size because it's way easier. If you want to do printing, you can downsize or just do that size to print. And then it's all by layers. So essentially you're just adding a layer. Usually I'll do like a rough sketch or an outline of something. I'll do a quick fill of color, and then I will then do a finalized draft. And by the end of it, I'll probably have like 20, 30 different layers. And then I'll just combine them all at the end and finish the piece. But it's really cool. They have so many different brushes, so many different like textures that you can give to things. Mine is very like simplistic. It's very like 2D. There's not a lot of dimension. I'm not shading anything. I'm not doing any of that. I was trying to do that beforehand, but now I'm like, I don't want to say I'm lazy, but like I am kind of. I don't want to put the effort into doing all of that. Maybe I'll try to do it again, but for now, this style is like really easy to kind of just whip out, and people like it. So why not stick with easy and lazy?
Yeah, like I mean, and you can tell who the person is when you look at the image.
Yeah.
So it starts. You have like a reference image when you're drawing the person. So if I
Yeah.
want you to make one of me, I have to send you a photo of me, I'm guessing.
Exactly, yeah. So I put all of the kind of instructions on my Instagram page and like highlight reels of telling everyone how to do it. But essentially, it's just sending me a couple of pictures, telling me what the person's eye color is, if they have preferences, if they wear glasses, do they want them on or off? If they have curly hair, do they want it curly or straight? You know, very basic things. Do you want their outfit to be a certain color? Do you want their background to be a certain color? any sort of specifications, I will take it away, do a quick rough draft, again, fill it with color, and then send it back. And if you'd like it, then I'll continue with it. If you want to change things, I usually typically only allow like 3 to 5 revisions for the most part. It's very rare like that anyone would want to revise things. Most times I feel like people really want to put their trust in the artist of what looks best, and a lot of people do. It's mostly my close friends that are like, girl, change this please. I want you to change that part. I'm like, okay. So I'll do that, and then the turnaround time is usually within like 10 days or so for me to get the final copy back, and I just send it by an email, PDF or PNG format, so you can print or use for digital purposes. I send like an email that kind of gives a rundown of like, this is where I would print it, or this is the dimension size I would use if you're gonna use it on like Instagram or something, so it doesn't like, the quality doesn't shit the bed, because it's bad sometimes when you're posting on social media. It looks like shit.
Does it stretch it or?
Because I use such a large canvas size when you're trying to put it on Instagram, for instance. I don't know what it is. It's compressing the file, I guess, and it just turns the quality so grainy and pixelated that you can't even see like the good quality of the image. So I usually just use like an app to convert the size, and it will downgrade it from like gigabytes or whatever to, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to know what it goes to, but it goes to something, and it's way easier to use. And then when you post it, it looks sick. Like it's fairly good. I mean. Yeah. It's Instagram.
It looks like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. For the most part, yeah.
And do most people just use it on their Instagram or?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of people that are kind of like, I don't want to say like social media influencers, because that kind of sounds douchey, but like that's kind of what they are, I guess. Yeah. I guess, yeah. So they'll use it as their main profile picture, I guess. Yeah, some people will just post them. Some people will give them as gifts. A lot of people, like, I was so burnt out for Christmas because I was getting so many being like, for instance, one of my friends, she was like, I'd really like one done of me and my boyfriend and our dog. I'm like, okay. And then, she had that done and printed. And because it wasn't a gift, she just had it printed right away and put it up. One of her friends saw it. Then she messaged me and asked for me to do one. And then she wanted to get one for her boss. And then her boss wanted to get one for, and it just kind of goes along, which is really great in terms of, getting my name. Yeah, getting my name out there. And as a source of income. But it was just a lot all at Christmas. And I'm like, I will try my best to get that done for you as soon as possible. Thankfully, I got all of them done, but I had to stop at I think it was the 23rd of December. I was like, no more for the month. I will get back to anything that I said I would do. If it wasn't urgent with a time restriction, I will finish it in January for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is it done now, or?
I have still quite a few pieces that I still need to finish, but they were not they didn't give me a time frame. They didn't care when they were for themselves. I had a couple of people that wanted to keep them as a surprise. So I haven't actually posted them on my page, but I've finished a lot more than what I've posted. So I've kind of been I don't want to say inactive, but kind of in terms of posting. I haven't posted. Today was my first post actually on Instagram since December 31st, because I've been working on so many things kind of behind the scenes that I just can't post or share, that it will be cool once it gets done. I'm working on a couple different websites with people, and that takes a lot of time and preparation and revisions to make sure that everyone's into
working
it.
On the image for the website or on the website?
Yeah, so I'm not that techie that I would be able to set up a website, but the imagery for it. So for instance, one guy is a surf instructor, so I am drawing all of the sort of surf etiquette type images that he wants to put on his website, as well as he does sort of retreats, and he wants to do pamphlets, and he wants me to draw the images, because usually he's just kind of taking things from Google or wherever he finds, compiling it all together, and it's just a mishmash of whatever. And he's like, I want it to be very cohesive. I can tell you what it is that I like, but it's your style, and then it kind of all goes together. And the same thing for another girl who is doing music reviews of albums and stuff, and she wanted me to kind of do imagery sort of herself, but kind of like, say herself in like headphones, or then like on, her About Me page is just like a picture of her with like her cat because she loves her cat, or you know what I mean? Like very tailored to her, but all images of her for the website itself.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be a lot of work. I'm still doing all of the drafts for everything because it's a lot. And especially when you're not in the head of the other person to know exactly what they're envisioning. So it can be difficult to figure out what it is that they want. Yeah.
But I guess then you have the whole, is this close to what you want it to look like?
Well, yeah, and that's why I go back with drafts, and I'm just like, this is my first draft. Let me know what you think about it. Am I on the right track? If I'm not, what is it that you want? And then I'll take that feedback away, do something else. For bigger projects like that, I'll do several drafts. And
so, how far do you go before you send it to them to look at the image and decide on moving forward or changing things?
It kind of depends on, I guess, what their, like, again, time restraint is. If they have a certain deadline that they need it to be done with, I'll send kind of images, almost every couple of days of what I've done, whether it's just a small revision or if it's like I've changed a huge piece, I'll send it back. Usually it's always, I will do like a drafted outline with color in it first, send that back, and then I start building in detail, and then it'll finally get to that final draft of whether they like it or not.
Wow.
Thankfully, no one's ever like not like something. Yeah, like I don't like it. Yeah. Thankfully not.
So, when it comes to drawing face people,
Yeah.
what's the easiest relatively, on which one is more difficult to draw?
Well, because mine is so simplistic, I don't find anything that difficult. If I was to take a more realistic approach, it would be. Hands are really weird. Like, it's kind of, I don't know. They're just like little sausages. Sometimes they look cute. Sometimes they look like, what's that weird guy on YouTube that's the salad fingers? You ever hear of? Oh, okay. You got to look it up afterwards. I don't like it to look like that. And sometimes it does. I'd say probably drawing like the hair and the head shape is probably the easiest.
Okay.
Just because it's general shapes. There's no detail really in there. It's just like a line.
Yeah, you mentioned YouTube. I'm just thinking of it now. There's a guy, and I think like he has a lot of followers and he has lots of views, but he plays bass, and then he does like competitions. But the way he does his videos, like, it's crazy. He talks funny, and then so like I don't watch much YouTube, but for some reason I just watch this guy's videos. It's
I love YouTube.
what things do you check out on there?
Weird stuff. I watch a lot of like right now Chris Hansen.
Who's this?
He was from like NBC Dateline. He would do To Catch a Predator.
He has that show on YouTube.
Well, so he's right now investigating a YouTuber who's been like on the platform for like 10 years. And I've followed this person for like the last 10 years. And now he's finally being like called out for his like criminal behavior. But Chris Hansen live streams on YouTube. It's so weird that like the platforms are like merging.
Yeah.
I'm so into it.
What is the guy being accused of?
So essentially grooming children underage. It's like,
so it's sort of like
that's why
show?
he's involved. Yeah, that's why he's getting into it. I mean, obviously Chris Hansen is like he's trying to get the clicks and views, but I am like addicted. So like when I'm drawing, that's what I'm watching in the background. Any sort of like crime documentaries, anything like weird. I don't want to say weird, but like it is weird stuff. Not everyone's into it, but like real true crime is what I listen to and watch.
Yeah, talking of that, lately, like I had a little bit of a break, and everyone's watching Witcher and stuff on Netflix, but I don't know. I just started watching kind of all these weird documentaries. It started with one called "Don't Fuck with Cats."
See, I started the first episode of that, and I don't want to say hoping for more, but I thought it would be worse.
Oh, no.
The first episode, and I was really like...
This is it?
Yeah, I was like, this is what it is, and then I wasn't into it.
So what the thing about the show for me isn't even about the crime, it's
Yeah.
about the people
Yeah.
investigating the crime. Because if
Oh,
you
they were going. That one lady, she was going ape, like trying to figure it out. I'm like, girl, what are you doing with your life?
you know what, like personally for me, so it's not really about the crime. The crime
Yeah.
isn't, I mean, it's big because
Yeah.
stuff happens, but the people kind of like investigating this,
Yeah.
that's what does it for me.
It
for
was
that
very
show.
real because that stuff happens all the time now,
Yeah.
where everyone thinks they're an investigator. Like, even myself, like, I'll see someone walking and it's like, oh, I heard someone say that their first name's Tom, and I saw him at this place, so let me just check and see if I can figure out who Tom is at this place. Search them, yeah.
But actually it comes back to one thing that is important, we don't think of, is privacy, right? Because like, especially with your work, you kind of have a front facing side of your work with your Instagram, but then there's another side of you. Like, do you feel that people kind of shoebox you because of what they see on your page?
To a degree, I suppose, but I have two separate pages. So, but I guess both of them are honestly, I would only post certain content on them and I wouldn't really post anything else. I usually rely on my Instagram stories. So you can see it for 24 hours of me doing something in the real life. Yeah. And then it goes away. But for my art page, I don't really post anything other than my art. That's it. And then I have another page that's kind of like doing modeling and stuff. And I don't post anything.
So let's talk about modeling.
Okay.
How did you get into that?
So if I go way back to when it first kind of started, I guess, my brother's girlfriend, back when I was probably 16, she was going to a photo shoot and asked me to tag along. And I was like, okay, sure. So I went with my mom, and this was in the summertime. So like, I always am carrying a bag with like a swimsuit or whatever, because if there's somewhere to swim, I'm probably gonna go. And she was doing her shoot, and I was just kind of sitting there with my mom. And then the photographer was like, "Do you want to get in? Do you want to do the shoot with her?" And I was like, I guess so. Like, I have a bathing suit. I could easily, because it was down in Shorts Lake, like Brookfield, Stewiacke type of area. And it was really random. It was this like older man's car. It's a Cobra, if you know what that, I don't even know what that is. It's like a very
like
old
an
antique.
old sports
Yeah,
car.
like, yeah, it was nice, I guess. And we were taking pictures on it for whatever reason. And then because my brother's girlfriend was doing these shoots, she just kind of continued to like pull me along, and I'd go on these shoots with her. And then I kind of stopped. It was they broke up, and then I'm like, there's no reason for me to go and do this sort of thing on my own.
Yeah.
But then my friend Kelsey Barr, she is doing modeling and also photography, and we've been friends since junior high. And we touched base on Instagram just in the last little bit. We lost touch after high school and kind of reconnected. And she was like, "I'm doing, photography. Do you want to get together? We'll do a shoot." And I was like, I guess so. Why not? Like, it'll be a good day of like reconnecting with her, and she'll get pictures for her portfolio. She's trying to grow, and I'll get some cute photos of me. So like, sure, why not? And I posted them, and I had like, the reaction was really good. And a lot of the people that she knew from like the photography type of community, people were reaching out already being like, "I'd love to shoot with you." And I'm like, weird, like, I'm not a model. I just posted this picture, but if you want to work with me, okay. So I started working with a couple of other people, Chris Durant and also Adam O'Brien, and we started doing some more shoots. I have a couple other ones that are lined up, but again, my schedule's so crazy that it's really hard for me to figure it out with people. But the feedback's been really good, and I post fairly frequently with like new content, and it goes over well. So
that's the next question. You said like you're so busy, but you're doing all these things. How do you plan it all out?
It's a really good question. People are always like, "Are you spontaneous at all?" Like, no, I am not. I went to school for event planning. I am so meticulous in what I am doing, and it is like gross to the point that I will like try and create lists for myself to get everything done and prioritize. and I have so many calendars and journals and everything to keep track. My days, for the most part, are very, very similar in how they go with like my daughter and work, and then my daughter again. I only am ever free on Monday and Tuesday evenings. I'm free every one weekend out of the month because I work on the weekends, but then I'm free during the day because I work the night, like this weekend. So it's really like a balancing act. And if people want to, I just see it, if people want to like get together with me, or if they want to work or whatever, then we'll plan it for one of those days and they'll just have to wait, essentially.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you say you have a lot of calendars, journals and stuff?
Yeah.
Is it like analog or digital stuff that you prefer working with?
Everything is paper. I write everything. I know, and it's funny because I do all digital illustrations and stuff, but
Yeah.
when it comes to that sort of stuff, I need a pen and paper.
But like, okay, so here's the thing. I put my things into my phone, and then it's like, oh, you need to do this now. Oh, you need to do this now. And sometimes I still
Yeah.
slip, right? But your PayPal won't remind you, like, so you always
You're
have to
right.
go look at it.
You do, yeah, you do. But I am always looking at it.
Okay.
I'm the kind of person that I'm always in there looking at it. I don't know what, for whatever reason, I don't trust my phone if I put something in there.
Why not?
I don't know, and I'm not really good with like the reminders or like the alarms on my phone. I just don't trust them.
Well, you don't set an alarm?
Oh, I set lots of alarms in the morning.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like 15. I'm one of those people.
How long is your snooze last for?
Only a few minutes. It's not very long.
Yeah.
And it starts at 6 a.m. until 6:45. 6:45 is like, you have to get up now. There are no more chances. You got to get up.
Yeah, no, mine is 10 minutes apart.
Yeah.
And so like, I find personally that I work better at night because, like, early hours, because then, like, people are asleep. People don't need me for stuff. People don't say, hey, how's this stuff happening? So
Yeah.
I get to work then. So I just have to either like sleep, in the evening till then, and then I do some work, or sometimes I get so busy and I just have to do it. But then I find that if I'm doing something I like, I'm like, oh shit, I need to go and sleep now. I need to go and sleep now.
Yeah.
But when it comes to time to wake up, the good thing is that now my alarm can pick up some Spotify playlist, right?
Yeah.
So I listen to songs I like. I'm like, okay.
I got Lizzo. Teeth hurts. That's my alarm every morning.
Okay, so what is your now? I mean, you're getting all these people coming in asking you to. Oh my god, asking you to, asking you to pay, illustrate for them.
Yeah.
Like, so what's the next phase of this?
That's a really good question. So, not to say that I'm getting like bored, but it's kind of stagnant in what I'm doing right now. And I posted asking if people would be interested in like stickers or doing like enamel pins or like something that's like tangible that I could try to create. I could sell it at like one of the markets. I could just do it online. Just because I love doing the illustrations and like the portraitures, but it's really, I don't know, it gets boring after a certain amount of time. I'm on my 40th one and I'm like, I'd really love to switch it up. So rather than getting to that place again, I'd like to kind of, keep doing those, but also add something else in that's kind of fun as like a side project. So I don't really know. Like, I certainly don't have the time right now to dedicate to making it anything full time. I work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So it's my time again is limited, but I'd like to stick with it. And, if I stick with it long enough, then I think it could be something. And I would love to have something where I'm creative, like in all of my, future plans or goals for myself. It's always, I'd like to be my own boss. I'd like to have a business where I can be creative, whether that's sticking with illustrating or if it's doing something else. Like I was a florist for 4 years, whether it's maybe doing something like that, tie back in my like event planning background into that. I don't know, something that's creative, because I know like the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday banking job, it's not it.
Personally, I feel like, I mean, you have to pay bills, right?
Yeah.
And it's good that I can say, okay, I'm not, I can't pay my rent or mortgage or whatever it is you're
Yeah.
paying. But what I find is, as long as I have like an outlet for things I want to do, that's why I just like, I guess every couple of months, if I've not made a film or something, I go stay crazy.
Yeah. No, exactly that. Yeah. And that's like, I took quite a long break from doing any illustrating at all. And then I realized how, like, people would ask the question, like, oh, what do you do? Like, what do you get up to? And I'm like thinking about it. And I'm like, I do absolutely nothing. Like, where have all my hobbies gone? This is crazy. I used to like go to like the paint nights and I go to Clay Cafe with friends and I love doing those things. They're so fun.
Paint night is like it's embarrassing for me, right? Because I really try. I really try, right?
Yeah.
It's I go there and
I mean,
I'm
it's
like
step by step.
right in front and like I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
And it looks shit.
Yeah.
Like I think I have like
doubt that.
I'm serious. I'm like one day I'm gonna take photos of all.
Yeah.
I have like I've done maybe five or six.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, fuck. But there's some, what I think? Because, when you're buying the ticket, they kind of show you what you're going to paint at the end. I should look for something that just looks simple. Like, the more pretty...
Don't you do that? Don't you look at them ahead of time?
Yeah, because I look at it, but you know what? I choose the pretty ones.
Oh, I see.
And the pretty ones are difficult.
Right.
Like, there's one that it was
Get the ugly ass snowman, like 3 balls. Yeah.
It is almost like a couple in the rain. They had a red umbrella and like they're all like black, right?
Yeah.
So it's like their silhouette.
Yep.
And the umbrella is the only color in there. And it's weird because like in my mind you draw an umbrella with like an upside down U, but we kind of drew it like with C's and like. Like, I don't like
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, that but it's crazy.
That's fun.
I'm so competitive. Like
Yeah.
I think that's one of my flaws. I am a sore loser.
Yeah, that's fair.
So when
But it's not a competition.
I know, but in my head I'm like, it should look better than that. And
Yeah.
but I guess it's the experience and the personal people you do it with.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So,
I
when you
don't
mention
experience that at all when I
Because,
go.
of course, you are you.
It's calming to me. I'm just taking my time. I'm drinking my drink.
Yeah, I mean,
doing
because you
whatever.
can make all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the one that also gets to me is when people like can actually draw black. No, it's easy. No, it's not.
I don't think art is easy. I certainly don't, especially when it's in different mediums. Because, like I said, for instance, digital illustrations. Like, yes, I could be good at this, but when I try to actually do a real portrait, that is so difficult, and I'm not great at it. Landscapes, I can't do those. Like, it's a totally different atmosphere, even though it's all in the same medium of digital drawing.
Yeah.
Like painting, I find that I'm better with watercolors than I am with acrylics, for instance. I find that way harder to do.
Yeah.
Even like drawing, if someone was to do like sketch work with pencils and do shading, like I can't do that, but I could do really strong line work with pens. So it just depends on what it is, and not everyone's good at all the different mediums.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This summer, my friends and I were shooting a documentary in Lunenburg, and so they have this art school, and then they had these people like go around Lunenburg and paint all of Lunenburg. So it's this huge painting, but everyone is painting a section.
Yeah.
And like all of them are really good, and you can see, oh my God. But you can tell, oh, this one is better than that person and stuff. And I think, for me in my head, I just have to get used to that. It's okay. And the weirdest
Art is art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing is, like I don't mind losing, funny enough, but like in my head, I just think I can do better.
Yeah.
So if the thing is when I'm thinking of I can do better, is about a specific thing. Like with the paint night,
Yeah.
I think if I go to the paint night with that couple like 5 times, then I'll
Oh,
have a
for
good
sure.
one.
Yeah, you'll
right?
have
but,
it, yeah.
But each one is different, so I don't get to do it again. Like, and then people say, "Oh no, if you practice the one skill, blah blah blah." No, no.
Yeah.
I think some people can just do some things, and some people just don't have that
Some
type of
people are
skills.
just gifted in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not me. No. Certain things. But yeah, I feel like if I didn't have anything like creative or whatever, oh, it wouldn't be good.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, being a mom and handling all the things, do you find? Well, I have so many layers of this question, but do you find first that your daughter influences your art in any way?
Maybe to a degree, honestly, because we were starting to draw together. Like, she has so much, like, crayons, papers, stickers, a bunch of different stuff because I love buying that stuff. So, of course, I have my mini me. I'm going to buy it for her too,
Yep.
only in her sort of version. And we draw together all the time. And it was, I guess, kind of around the same time that I started doing this more like simplistic drawing because I was originally on Pinterest looking for images to draw for her. Like, we were just making a little like craft at home. Usually like Sundays when we're together is sort of like our craft day.
I stole this one from her. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll just do like crafts like that. And I feel like it may have taken from her without me even realizing that it's a very simplistic design, but she likes it. Like, I'll show her this and she's like, "Mommy, that's beautiful. I love it. That's adorable." Right now she's saying gorgeous.
How old is she?
She's 3.
Okay.
Yeah, right now she's all about saying like, "Mommy, I have gorgeous eyes. Look at my gorgeous eyes." I'm like, "I see them." Yeah.
And so, so the next layer is she influences you art in some way. Are there other parts of your life that she influences too?
Oh my God, for everything. I mean, I feel like when you have a kid, they're at the forefront of everything that you do.
Yeah.
So any decision that you make, it's even like the smallest things of like, if I'm going to the grocery store and I'm there and am I going to buy something that's like really bad to eat or am I going to buy something that's healthy? Because I want her to eat healthy too. I want her to see that I'm eating healthy food and I like it, so you can like it too. And it's just like, are we going to take the stairs or are we going to take the elevator when we get back to our place? And just very small,
How many
minuscule
floors?
things. I'm on the 3rd floor. That's not bad. I like the stairs, to be honest. So
I suck at it. Like, and sometimes I wouldn't go to a place because there's no. But I'm getting better. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Okay.
yeah. So I mean, just like really tiny things that you wouldn't think would necessarily have anything to do with her, but they do. And she's always at like the main part of my mind that I'm always thinking about, like, what should I do for Lennon's sake, or would this be beneficial for Lennon, or whatever. But there's never a time that I'm not thinking about her.
Well, wow. I guess it's cool to be like. Anyway. What I guess. Like, so since she influences so many decisions of you make, do you find that? So one thing I was actually talking to a friend of mine and they just had a child, and the first thing is like your social life out the window. Like, at the moments where you feel like you just need some like a babysitter or stuff because you need to spend time with friends.
Yes, and kids are a great way to use it as an excuse also, but like not in that sense, because I realize that I can get a babysitter or she could go with her grandparents, but because I have her and I feel guilty, I'll say no to that plan even though I have options available. So it's I mean, when you have a kid, your social life definitely goes out the window.
Yeah. So, I was just wondering, right? Do you find that your art has any influence of any kind with your mental well-being?
It does, definitely. I find a lot of the time that I'm picking up my iPad to draw when it comes to, like, if I'm upset, I'm going to draw. It's my creative outlet. It's what I use for everything. Some people will journal. Some people will do whatever it is. They'll go for a run. For me, it's always been drawing or doing something creative. And, if I'm feeling really happy or inspired by something, I will grab my iPad and I'll just draw. I don't even know, half the time, if you look through my iPad, it's like a bunch of like scribbles or colors or just like random stuff that's in there. But I can like visually just look at it and be like, oh yeah, that was a day that I was like feeling really good, or that's a day that like something dark was happening. But I use it all the time as just a way to like cope with things and just express myself. Yeah.
So this is you clearly, right?
That is me. Yes.
Oh gosh. So we start with how long would it take to make this? You said 3 hours or so?
It depends. It can be anywhere from like an hour and a half to 3 hours, basically. It depends on like how much detail that I'm trying to put into it, and if like the character is like holding something, for instance.
Yeah.
For me, I put like a little more detail. Like, I mean, I have a plant. I'm obsessed with house plants.
Oh, okay.
I have about like 65 right now, and I'm propagating more. I'm
How?
obsessed.
And you have to water each one?
Of course, yes. You water each and every single one.
Every
Some of them
day?
have different schedules.
Well, how does your daughter feel about her plants?
Oh, she loves it. She has a little watering can that's like this big, and she will go around and help me. I'll give her like the little tiny plants, and she'll go around and help me.
65. How long do they live for these plants?
All the plants?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you take care of them.
Oh, they
they'll
don't
continue.
like, it's not like 6
They're
months,
not-
fuck out of here.
Oh no. No,
Oh.
no, no, no. I take good care of my plants. They're with me for life. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna end it with this question.
Yeah.
Say, so someone wants to like take something they love, art, whatever it is, and then turn it into some form of income. What are the things you would like them to know?
I think first just having the, I don't know, belief in yourself that you can do it, because taking the first step of like putting yourself out there to be like, hey, I feel like I'm good at this. And even recognizing that, to kind of accept that you might have a talent or might be good at something is kind of weird. But just to be like, I am good at this. Would you be interested? I feel like always gauging what people are interested in, or whatever your craft is. Make sure that you're like speaking to a community or a market or whatever of people that are interested in that, and gauge what they like, take their feedback, work on your craft, work on what you have. And I'd say like have things ready before you're ready to kind of like launch or put yourself out there to any sort of degree. Because I had several different pieces of art done before I kind of asked like, would people be interested in this? Because I saw the feedback and I saw people were interested already, but I kind of wanted to put it out there to get that feedback from them directly. And yeah, just having the courage to, I guess, put it out there and start something.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening.